Good day, students, and welcome to your Human and Social Biology class. I am your teacher, Mr. Heron. All right, now we're going to be looking at plant and animal cells. All right, so let's look at our objectives for this class. Number one, what is a cell? All right, and number two, what are the differences and the similarities between a plant cell and an animal cell? And lastly, we're going to look at the functions of the main cell structures. All right, so question, what is a cell? Okay, all living organisms are made up of cells. Cells can be considered as the smallest unit of life. In other words, they can be looked upon as the building blocks for life. Now, there are some organisms that have just one cell, and as such, they're called unicellular organisms. So that's unicellular organisms, and this means they have one cell. Right? Now, there are some organisms that are more complex, like us humans, and we have billions of cells that make up this organism you see in front of you. All right? And they are called, or we are called, multicellular organisms. That's multicellular organisms. Many cells. All right? So, what is a cell? A cell is the smallest unit of life. All organisms are made up of cells. There are some organisms that have just one cell, and they're called unicellular organisms. And there are much more complex organisms that are made up of several thousand, millions, even billions of cells, and they're called multicellular organisms. All right? So that's basically what a cell is. Now, let's look more specifically at a plant cell and an animal cell. Now, I'll be trying to draw this for you in real time to give you a feel of the different organelles or parts that make up a cell and their function. All right? So let's start with the simpler one, which is the plant cell. Now, this outer wall is called a cell wall or a cellulose wall in a plant cell. Next, we have the cell membrane, and I think it's a good idea to label them as we go along. So we have the cell wall, we have the cell membrane, now it's important to note, guys, when you're doing your drawings for your exams, you try not to make sketches. You need solid, uninterrupted lines, all right? Like you're seeing on the board now. All right? Now, we have this void that takes up pretty much a great portion of the plant cell, and it's called the vacuole. And this is what helps to give the plant its firmness and its shape. All right? The vacuole. You have the chloroplast. And as the name suggests, chloroplast, this is where plants make photosynthesis, all right? Now, all this area that's inside the cell membrane is called the cytoplasm. So that's this area right here. Cytoplasm. Is that it? Cytoplasm, right. Then, we have the mitochondria. And that's a singular. The plural will be mitochondria. Then we have the endoplasmic reticulum. Endoplasmic reticulum. And we're going to go in more depth about the function of these organelles or plant structure, cell structure, sorry. And we have the ribosomes. All right. And always remember to give your diagram a title. Now, the title can be written at the top or below. In this case, because space provided at the bottom, I'm going to write at the bottom. So, boys and girls, here we have a simple drawing of a plant cell, all right? Now let's move over to this side where we can do an actual drawing of an animal cell, all right? So let's start by giving our diagram a title. Animal cell, all right? Now let's begin. Here we have our cell membrane. All right? And just like the plant cell, all this area inside is called the cytoplasm. Cytoplasm. All right? Now, unlike the plant cell, the animal cell, it also has a vacuole, but it's much, much smaller. As a matter of fact, it's called the small vacuole. All right? Next. Its nucleus. All right. It also has the endoplasmic reticulum. Now, point to note, in your drawings, you will definitely use a ruler to draw your arrows, right? And you will notice that the arrows, there are no point. So, for example, we don't do this. All right? It's simply a line drawn with a ruler. All right? So remember that. But for the sake of illustration, I'm doing it by freehand. All right? The animal cell also has ribosomes. And of course, we have the mitochondrion. And there you have it, boys and girls, a simple drawing of an animal cell.